want to bring it in when we're done, I'll look at it.
You don't know what it says.
Yeah. You just haven't seen one yet. Mine isn't doing it, so. The trick is if you don't update it.
One for specific game day hours.
The lunch hour is here, and it's not too late to head over to City Dogs Restaurant in the Fan, home of Richmond's best hot dogs. City Dogs is ready to serve you and your entire office with a quick and affordable lunch featuring 13 unique hot dogs, 5 styles of Angus beef cheeseburgers, along with your choice of chili cheese fries, tater tots, or crispy onion rings. It's lunchtime at City Dogs Restaurant, 1309 West Main Street. We'll see you there.
Oh, yeah.
Like the taste of fresh apples? Try an Angry Orchard hard cider. At Angry Orchard, we believe in tradition. That's why we use apples from a 100-year-old orchard. It takes 2 apples to make each bottle of Angry Orchard. So raise a glass to a time when apples were best served in a pint glass. Angry Orchard, when you're looking for something a little different. Crisp, refreshing, and not too sweet. Just like me. Angry Orchard hard cider. Branch out.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Drink responsibly.
O'Reilly! It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Earn double points on 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $22.99. Or upgrade to Castrol GTX high mileage for $24.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
WXGI Richmond, WZEZ Goochland. We are ESPN 950 and Sports FM 100.5. Streaming live at ESPN950AM.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Bob Picozzi. His predecessor held the job for 32 years. Steve Patterson lasted 22 months. According to ESPN and multiple reports, Texas fired its athletic director this morning. Critics claim Patterson angered longtime season ticket holders and donors with his aggressive push to raise money for the country's wealthiest athletic department. There could be a change at the top of the American League West by the end of the evening. If Texas beats Houston, the Rangers will move into first place a half game ahead of the Astros. ESPN Baseball Tonight podcast host Buster Olney thinks Texas will finish first.
Maybe the Astros will find a way. They have so much great talent on that team. So many guys playing in a big spot for the first time in their careers. But it just feels like that the Rangers are not going to be denied as they push toward the top.
You can see the Astros-Rangers game tonight, 8 Eastern Time on ESPN. Offensive lineman Jake Long has agreed to a contract with the Atlanta Falcons, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. And according to multiple reports, Toronto will not submit a bid to host the 2024 Olympics. That leaves Los Angeles as the only North American city in contention to be the host.
Get to Subway for a simple 6 meal and enjoy your choice of 6-inch sandwich like the delectable meatball marinara, plus any bag of chips and a 21-ounce fountain drink for just $6. All day, every day. The Simple 6 menu. Subway. Eat fresh.
Welcome to the following presentation from IMG, America's home for college sports. And thanks for listening to University of Richmond Athletics. We are One Richmond, united in red. It's lunchtime, and it's time to talk Richmond football with head coach Danny Rocco and his special guest. This is the Spider Sportsline, live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street. Today's show is brought to you by the Discover Card, UPS, Luck Chevrolet, Outback Steakhouse, and by the University of Richmond School of Professional and Continuing Studies. Be a part of the show. Call 804-622-0950 or 877-994-4950. Or send an email to spidersportsline@richmond.edu. Now let's go live to Outback Steakhouse. Here's the voice of the Spiders, Bob Black, with Coach Rocco. This is the Spider Sportsline on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
I formation, 2nd and goal at the Hampton 1. Green, the tailback. Lauletta under center. The snap, the handoff to Green. Over right tackle and over the goal line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Spiders. Jacoby Green, a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Spiders are on the board. Lauletta shotgun snap, looks right, pumps, throws down the sideline, pass is caught, touchdown! Porter Abel on the right side of the field for the Spider 6. Shotgun formation, 1st and 10, Hampton 36, Lauletta throws it out on the left side of the field. Pass is caught by Reggie Diggs. Down the sideline, there he goes, all the way to the end zone, touchdown! Spiders have their first lead of the game. It comes from Reggie Diggs. And the Spiders made that lead hold up for a 31-28 victory Saturday over the Hampton Pirates on a wild day at Hampton University. With that as a backdrop, we welcome you to the Spider Sportsline, live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street. The lunch hour is just getting underway. Good crowd in the house, but still some tables and food for you to come on by and chew on that and Spider and college football as we talk with head coach Danny Rocco, our weekly get-together, plus our special player guests coming up in the middle segments of our program today. Porter Abel, you heard the touchdown reception that Porter had at the beginning of the second half, and Winston Craig, who had a big day on that defensive front for the Spiders. They'll be our two special player guests coming up. Your phone calls and emails are more than welcome as well. All right, Coach Rocco, it was a wild, crazy game. Most of us that have been around the game for a long time said we still had never seen anything like what we saw Saturday at Hampton. Put that aside for a moment, because somewhat lost in the shuffle that I want you to speak about is the fact that your football team rallied from a 14-0 deficit, a 21-7 deficit, a 28-16 deficit at the start of the fourth quarter. And it speaks highly of this football team not giving up. What's the phrase you always use? Start quickly and
finish strong.
Finish strong.
Yeah.
So we got that part of it right.
We got that part right. 15-0 in the fourth quarter. So it was a good finish for us. The game was uphill all game for a lot of reasons, but fell behind, threw an interception, gave him a one-play score. Had a holding call on a kickoff return, then an offensive penalty. We're punting out of our end zone. I think before people got situated in the stands, we're down 14-0, and that's not a good place to be. There were a few minor issues, I thought, with the officiating and game management. But we shall overcome. And the fourth quarter was really a good performance by our football team, and our guys showed an awful lot of fight and was really. We would have started to really extend that lead because we were beginning to take control of the line of scrimmage, and that's the reality of it. I know down in their camp there's some ill will, but the reality is 15-0 in the fourth quarter. Once things kind of got balanced out a little bit, I thought our football team really took control of the game. And I think it's a big step for us moving forward here. So excited about being home this week. It's just home at last, and very excited for this opportunity coming up against VMI.
The stuff you talked about at the beginning of the game, turnover, penalties, the mistakes, that sounds like stuff you'd have in the first game of the season that you didn't. Did it surprise you that it came in the second game?
Maybe a little bit. It was just an odd environment. When you're playing, 1 week in front of 58,000 and the next week in a different environment, and there's just a lot of little subtle things that that go into it sometimes that play a factor in the outcome. But we weren't as crisp early, that's for sure. And but still at the end of the day, I think we had 5 penalties. They had 11. We still protected the ball well other than that one. So still some of the things that I think are critical to being able to have a good season and giving yourself a chance to win. I think holistically we're doing them well. We had a bad first quarter. That is for sure there to start the game down there at Hampton last week.
All right, let's talk about a couple of factors in the game. Obviously, this crowd wants to know more about the end of the first quarter, but I'm going to hold off on that for a moment and talk about the halftime situation, which was nobody's fault. That was a weather-related issue. The lightning came. The game was delayed. You're behind at halftime. How did you handle that scenario with your guys? And we'll certainly talk to Porter and Winston about how physically they got themselves back ready to play after a longer than normal halftime break.
Yeah, the whole week I was tracking the weather, and then really Friday, Saturday morning, I'm tracking the weather. We're making decisions based on, the weather and the forecast. And I knew we'd have a delay. I didn't know how long the delay would be. I didn't know when it would come. Just like you guys, you knew we'd probably get some weather. We were fortunate that we didn't have more. But even at the start of the game, I chose to take the ball because I wanted to get off to a good start and have a lead because I didn't want to be out there in the second half in a monsoon. So the thought would be have more possessions in the first half where the weather's a little bit better, so your offense has a better chance of scoring more points. So when the monsoon comes, you're up 7 or 10, not down 7 or 10. Yep. Well, it just totally went bass-ackwards. I think that's how you say that.
Well done, Coach
Thank you.
Rocco. A game today.
Thank you. So far. All right. And
15 minutes to go.
And then, in the second half, I made the decision to take the wind in the fourth quarter, which really paid dividends for us because in the fourth quarter they couldn't throw the ball.
Right.
And our ground game got running, and it just kind of gave us that opportunity. The last two times we kicked off with the wind at our back. We had an opportunity to really pin them a little bit. So to your question about the halftime, I knew it was coming. And the odd thing about the setup at Hampton was the locker room wasn't big enough for the team to be in. So we were segmented. So like I'm having to walk in one room and kind of talk to the offense and go in the other room and talk to the defense and go down the other room and talk to the coaches. So like it was fragmented a little bit. And that's no excuse for anything, but we didn't quite have that mentality that we were all hearing or moving to the same heartbeat. Now, I will say this. I told the guys at halftime, I said, hey guys, listen, I'm tired of holding your hands. I'm tired of telling you what you got to do. You guys got to find a way to get it done. And to their credit, they went out there and played a more physical second half and took control of the football game.
All right, let's talk about the end of the first quarter and the controversies that unfolded, whether it was the injury to Tafon, whether it was the chain gang messing up on our side of the field.
Which one you want to talk about?
15-minute delay between the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter. These fans want to hear about all of that, and you've gone back and reviewed the tape. You've talked about it with us. What's your perhaps final conclusion that you came up with from what you saw at the end of that first quarter?
Poor game management.
That came from a former referee.
There's poor game management. I mean, there were some things that happened down there on Saturday that I just don't think I've ever witnessed or heard of before. I was actually talking to Chris Mooney today, explaining to him one of the things that had happened. I said, you know what, Chris? It'd be like you're getting ready to start the game, and the clock manager, the guy that's running the clock, turns to you and said, hey, you guys are in trouble today, And you're like, whoa. Where'd that come from? And, there were some things said by some personnel that were working the game that you just cannot say. And that kind of started the episode of the ensuing circus that occurred out there. We end the first quarter with the reality that our defense has to defend a 3rd and 1.5 or 3rd and 2. Coach Woods is looking at it. I'm looking at it. We're saying, what do we got here? About a 3rd and 2, okay? They move the chains, and when they start going in the other direction, it's 3rd and like 4 inches. So like I had to stop the game. I literally stopped the game, and I ran out on the field and said, no, what's going on? And then to get to first down, I mean, who would ever have thought that could happen? Mm-hmm. That you end the quarter going one way with a 3rd and 2, and you flip the change and it's a first down. So I'm not even going to try to explain that one. So, and then the inadvertent whistle on the play with Tafon was disappointing on a lot of levels. But what I witnessed on film and what I witnessed in person would have led you to believe that the whistle was being blown because there was a flagrant foul occurring. Mm-hmm. And there was a flagrant foul occurring, and that is probably why he intuitively blew the whistle, but he never threw a flag. So there was never a flag that came out. Mm-hmm. So they got a do-over on a down, and we lost a player for a significant period of time because of just somewhat of a mismanaged situation. So, I've been using the word uphill. This was a game that we played uphill from the very, very beginning, and it's so difficult to play that kind of a game. And hopefully, having won it, we can mature, grow, and advance as we head back home into a really big game against an in-state opponent.
I can tell it's still very fresh in your mind.
Very much so.
Very much so. The way you're describing it. All right, 622-0950. If you'd like to talk with Coach Rocco, Spider Sportsline at richmond.edu. We'll get to that inbox a little bit later in the show. Coming up in just a couple of moments, Porter Abel and Winston Craig will be at the head table to talk with us. Ivan, you're up. Thanks for calling in. Your time with Coach Rocco.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Coach. How you both doing today?
What's up, buddy?
Not much. First, I got to say, that referee in the first half of the game, I thought maybe it was the Marx Brothers refereeing. or the Three Stooges.
Well, I thought the same thing, right? Mo, Larry, and Curly, right?
Well done.
Yes. I thought it was the Three Stooges. I've never heard such bad refereeing in my life. But anyway, congratulations on the fantastic team victory you had.
Thank you.
When you finally got that lead in the fourth quarter, what went through your mind when you finally got the lead? What did you tell your players after they finally got it?
Well, I think the biggest thing when we got the lead was the reality that we were able to play with good field position, get the ball back. We forced a punt, which was huge. And then when our offense went out there to take the field on the last possession of the game, I was very hopeful that we would be able to end the game taking a knee. And there was a very odd series of events that led to I think a 16-play drive, and we took 8 minutes off the clock, and surely enough, we were ending the game with Kyle taking a knee. So I just wanted our players offensively to recognize that this game could end here in our favor if we can just hold on to and control the ball. And one of the key plays on that last drive was Kyle Laletta. I think he had a 19-yard run on a 3rd and 16, 3rd and 15 on a draw play, and he really showed some skill and some athleticism. I was kind of giving him the play-by-play on the bus on the way home, and I said it sounded something like this. Here's Laletta. He's at the 33, 34. Now he's made it across the 35. It's approaching the 36. I don't know if Bob called it that way, but that's kind of how I was watching that unfold right there.
You might hear that a little later on the program today, so you'll be able to compare. I think I was a little kinder to the young man than you were.
No, I was just teasing him. The young man just showed so much resilience, and you think about the pressure that's on these student athletes, the pressure that they have to deal with day to day, week to week, classes, expectations. They got to deal with me, all the time. And then, then they got these games in the balance. And so here's Kyle, got his first win as the starting quarterback. And, he just takes total ownership. One of the neatest things that I experienced in a while, maybe even since I've been here, maybe longer than that, was at halftime. Io went up to Kyle and said, "Hey, Kyle, we believe in you. You can get this done." And, Io wasn't playing that well. Io didn't have his best game. But for Io to be able to go over there and offer that support, I thought was really, really significant.
Oh, tell us about the injuries. You had one play that was really hit for a loop during the game that had to be carried off to...
Tafon Mansai is going to be out for an extended period of time. It will not be season-ending, but that was probably one of the most frustrating moments of the week, of the season. That wasn't good. And when you watch the film, it's kind of flagrant how the thing unfolded, and just disappointing that that had to happen.
Yeah. What can you tell us about VMI? They seem like they're an improved team from what they've been from what they've been in the past? What can you tell us about them?
Yeah, they're off to a good start. They went up to Ball State and they put 500.
Turo Time Cutters, or call 264-2513 to learn how you can save time and effort. And now, back to the game.
At UR School of Professional and Continuing Studies, we offer flexible and affordable degrees to help you start, advance, or change your career. Explore our newest graduate degrees in nonprofit studies and public history. Plus, check out our new bachelor's degree and we work for working professionals. Visit spcs.richmond.edu for details.
Hi, Bob Black here. As the voice of your Richmond Spiders, I see the fans' passion for our hometown team come to life each Saturday in the fall. UPS shares this same passion for helping businesses turn a challenge into a solution. Because they're not just in the shipping business, they're in the problem-solving business. Visit ups.com/solvers to see how UPS can help your team find the winning formula. UPS, official logistics company of Richmond Athletics.
If you're craving lunch and Richmond football, you've come to the right place. Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street. This is the Spider Sportsline on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
Spiders dig in on defense. The handoff comes straight ahead to Garrett, and the Spiders shove him back. Winston Craig coming up off the bottom of the pile along with DeAnthony Muse.
I love the way Winston Craig gets up after a big play like, hey, I do this every day. He gets up nice and slow, shakes his head a little bit and says, let's go again.
And let's go now with Winston Craig, Spider defensive lineman, and Porter Abel, Spider wide receiver, our two special player guests on today's edition of the Spider Sportsline. Welcome, fellas. Winston, I'm going to start with you off of that comment from Chris Anderson. He's a guy who played the game. He played it with great passion here at Richmond. He was a captain, and his observation of you after making a big-time play is that you make the play with the confidence of a champion. You basically just get yourself up and get ready for the next play. What's Winston Craig's mindset, your style?
So that's one thing you do have to control your emotions. Don't let them overwhelm you.
How much were you loving this game at halftime, though?
The delay can be a distraction, but at the same time, you can use it as a benefit to yourself and relax and kind of catch your breath and make sure like all the kinks are handled. If you need to get taped up again or stretched out, so it gives you more time to do things like that.
It wasn't like an overly long delay. It wasn't an hour or anything like that, but it was still a delay that took you out of your routine. Had you been through something like that before? How did you try to handle yourself when you got back on the field?
We just sat down for a while, so when I got back on the field, just try to stretch a little bit more, warm up a little bit harder. Coach Stu stretched us a little bit longer than usual. So, it really didn't make that much more of a difference, I feel like, to me. If anything, just kind of gave us more time to rest.
And the second half proved to be terrific for the Spiders. Porter, you had the first touchdown that started the rally, that ignited the comeback after trailing at halftime. What was your physical and mental mindset, I guess, after the little bit of a delay at halftime and knowing you guys were behind and had to put some points on the board?
Well, it was frustrating, especially at halftime, going down. But we talked about it at halftime with the coaches, and we got our minds right and come out in the second half when we started to move the ball a lot better.
Chris made the observation on the air at halftime when you guys came back out on the field to stretch. There was nobody in the stadium at that point, so you could see and hear everything, and he was like, wow, those guys are very quiet going through this extra stretching. And he said that could be a good thing or a bad thing. They could be just perfectly focused and ready to go. What do you think of that observation? What do you think you guys were thinking as you went through the stretching, knowing the game was getting ready to begin, several minutes delayed?
Well, I think we were really surprised we were in the situation that we were in. And like I said earlier, it was just really frustrating for us to be there, and we knew that we had to turn it around fast. And we were just thinking about a lot and just trying to figure it out.
Danny, did you sense that at all? I mean, that's an observation Chris made from 100 feet above in the press box, but that the team did seem quiet, and maybe that meant they were focused and they were ready to go once the whistle blew.
Well, I knew that we were going to be focused, and I knew we were going to play better in the second half. I kind of go back to my analogy saying how I felt the whole first half we were playing uphill, and I knew the whole game wasn't going to be like that. So I knew we were going to get some momentum. I knew we were going to get back in the game. Probably the single biggest decision we made at halftime that changed the flow of the game is we went to more of a no-huddle type of an approach, and it put Kyle at ease. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't really having to communicate as much. He got more into a flow of the game. It began to wear down the Hampton defense. I think we ran 49 plays in the second half. And again, we're not a team that looks like we're going like at warp speed. We're not like that like you see sometimes. But the unique thing when you think about college football right now and you think about upbeat fast tempo teams, you're always thinking about spread teams. Teams that are in the shotgun, spreading you out, trying to get the ball to the perimeter, catch and throw. Well, we have a tempo that will play where we play fast, but we're in more conventional formations. We're more downhill run and play action. And that really takes a toll on the defense when they're having to sit in there, be physical. Then, pass rush whenever the play action pass shows up. So it's a little unique, I think, and it's a little harder to prepare for, I believe, than teams that just sit there in the shotgun and try to go as fast as they can.
Porter, what's your impression of that? Because you played in that up-tempo offense last year when it was more like what Coach Rocco was just talking about, that spread with Michael Strauss out of the shotgun, and now you're going up-tempo this year. I know you guys call it NASCAR, and what the differences are and how you like it.
I like it a lot. It's a good concept that we have. It's not like Coach Rocco says, it's not warp speed around on the ball as fast as we can be. It's more of get the play called without getting in a huddle, but a little faster than we would be if we were huddling. So it keeps the defense on their heels a little bit, and it keeps us all a little bit more relaxed.
Did you sense you were wearing them down? I think it was pretty apparent from up in the press box, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely noticeable that we were wearing them down just because we were pounding the ball with a run game, and then we hit them with a pass here or there. So it was definitely noticeable.
Spider offense scored on 3 consecutive Richmond possessions. In the midst of that, Hampton did score once, but as you see your offense clicking now, 3 straight scores, what's the defense talking about on the sideline that, hey, if we can get a stop, if we can keep them out of the end zone, our offense is going to carry us to victory?
Yeah, we didn't start as fast as we wanted to. So once we saw the offense started moving the ball, making big plays, as a defense, we kind of came together and said we gotta make a big stop for these guys because they're gonna win us this game right now. So for us, it's just making sure that we had to give that second effort, just to make a huge stop.
You lose a couple guys on defense. How does that affect you? Early, it's Tafon, and then a little bit later, your running mate on the defensive line, Brandon Waller, goes out as well.
Those injuries, I feel like, definitely hurt us. But at the same time, during the game, you can see the team come together and took it kind of personal that one of our brothers is down, and that we wanted to win this game for them too. So it's just kind of like that next man mentality. The next guy up, young or old, has to get ready to play.
This was a crazy game. Obviously, we talked about it, detailed it with Coach Rocco. I imagine it's a game style that you've never been involved in before, found yourself behind. As a captain, how much of that burden is on your shoulder pads to make sure these guys do what you just talked about?
I like to take a lot of the weight on my shoulders. So if someone's down, I feel like it's my responsibility to go pick them up, play at a high level, and try to lead by example. Not necessarily be as always vocal, but just kind of going out there and leading by example on the field.
Yeah, we're talking with Winston Craig from the Spider defense. What is your style as a captain, and how comfortable do you feel about being one of those designated leaders? I know there's other leaders that don't necessarily have the label captain. You do.
I just think I have respect for my teammates, and I appreciate that a lot because I respect all my teammates as well. I'll talk here and there, but I try to just kind of leave it more on the field, not be as vocal, but just kind of lead with my play.
Danny, what's your perception on the way Winston is doing what he just talked about as one of your 4 captains?
Well, he's doing a great job in a lot of different areas, and I have been saying this for quite some time. I think he has a chance to be one of the best defensive linemen that have played here, and we had a great one here in Kerry Wynn, and, Kerry's obviously, playing on Sundays, so I'm on Monday Night Football here this past week. he's got the skill set. He's got the work ethic. He's got a really solid game. He can be physical in the run game and dominant in the run game, but he's skillful and athletic enough to pressure the passer. So, I think there's a lot of upside, and Winston's just got to stay, focused on improvement and doing what Coach Beelan's coaching him to do. And, the big plays will come, as long as you're out there working hard and playing as physical as you can play.
What runs through your mind, Winston, when your head coach gives that type of analysis about you?
It's good to hear, but at the same time, you always got to work to get better. You can always better yourself at something, whether it's a big aspect of the game, small aspect, fundamentals. It's always something you can work on and improve.
Answer doesn't surprise me at all. Hey, let's take a timeout. We're about halfway through. When we come back, we'll look ahead to the VMI game, and both of these guys have special connections to the VMI game coming up this Saturday. That is called a radio tease. It means you have to come back to find out what the announcer is talking about. We'll do that in just a moment as the Spider Sports Line continues from Outback Steakhouse on the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
We know what it's like, that persistent nagging feeling that will only go away when you get away. For those with a passion for travel, there's the new Discover It Miles card. You earn unlimited 1.5 miles for every dollar you spend, and you can fly any airline anytime with no blackout dates. Just buy your ticket and use miles to credit your statement. Apply now and Discover will double your miles at the end of your first year. So go on, scratch that travel itch. Get the new Discover It Miles card today. Limitations apply. Double miles for new card members only. Learn more at discover.com/miles.
Hurry in to Outback for our limited time only steak and unlimited shrimp starting at just $15.99. Hurry in for our sirloin and unlimited garlic herb shrimp or unlimited crispy shrimp with new volcano sauce. And let the bold flavors speak for themselves. Outback Steakhouse, done right. There are 5 great Outback restaurants in the Richmond area. Visit Outback.com for the location nearest you. Prices, products, and participation may vary while supplies last.
Help support the Folds of Honor, providing post-secondary educational scholarships for children and spouses of military servicemen and women killed or disabled while serving our great nation at the Crossings Golf Club in Glen Allen on September 18th and 29th for Patriot Golf Day. This 2-day event provides twosomes the chance to win both gross and net prizes. Entry fees include range balls, golf, food, beverages, and more. The 18th features a 2-person scramble, while the 29th is a 2-person 9-hole event with best ball, scramble, and alternate shot. Reservations are required. Call now, 261-0000.
Can you handle a full rack? Buzz can. He's been smoking, chopping, saucing, and glazing barbecue his way for over 30 years, specializing in succulent, spare, tender baby back, and jumbo beef ribs with recipes handed down for generations. And don't forget about the award-winning pulled pork sandwiches, cooked daily over Buzz's signature hickory smoked wood. Stop by the original location at 1119 North Boulevard in the Fan, or the new Buzz and Ned's Real Barbecue at 8205 West Broad Street in the West End.
Lunch is on the table, and the Spider Sports Line is on the air. Live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street, on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network. Powered by Ace Electric.
Barletta, shotgun snap, looks right, pumps, throws down the sideline, pass is caught, touchdown! Porter Abel on the right side of the field for the Spider 6. Second half of the Spider Sports Line, live from Outback Steakhouse. If you couldn't make it today, first of all, thanks for tuning in, and we certainly hope to see your smiling face here next Tuesday. I should mention we are here each and every Tuesday. The Spiders have a bye week next week, but no bye week for the radio show. We will be here Tuesday. We'll recap the VMI game, and then we will be here the following Tuesday after the bye week, and we'll preview the main game, which will be the CAA Football Conference opener. So we're here each and every Tuesday through the college football season. All right, Porter, that was the highlight of your touchdown. Started the rally in the third quarter. Kind of take us through that play from your eyes, because you were really wide open, and Kyle hit you right in the hands.
Yeah, when the play was called, I kind of knew the ball was going to be coming my way, just because of the play call. But I got off my guy, and he was going to the flat, and I was wide open, like you said, and I caught it, and there was no one there. I was really excited.
Is that almost sometimes a little bit harder when you're that wide open to make sure you look that ball into your hands, kind of like a jump shooter who's open with no defender within 5 feet of him?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a lot harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder.
Coach, talk about that play call. Obviously, an excellent one from Coach Fisher for the touchdown to Porter that you absolutely needed to get that comeback started.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a high red zone type of play. There was a little restricted field, and you kind of forced the defense to react to a pump. And Porter did a really good job getting off the jam. He kind of got jammed up there a little bit, and I wasn't sure he was going to be able to slip out. And I thought Kyle was patient enough there to just create enough time. It was going to get open if he was just able to be patient enough, and it broke pretty much wide open, and I thought Kyle laid a pretty good ball in there.
All right, you know that Porter Abel would love to do that again this week because he's playing against his hometown team. Porter obviously is from Lexington, had a tremendous high school career there as a quarterback, and now the Keydets are coming to town today. Talk a little bit about growing up in that area, about the recruiting process that I know VMI, I'm sure, was interested in your services as well.
Yeah, they recruited me pretty hard at first. They were my first offer of all the schools. And Coach Woods is now with us now. He was recruiting me. He was a great guy through the whole process. Yeah, I definitely know about them a lot just because grew up going to some of their games on Saturdays.
Was there a mindset that you might go to VMI? I mean, obviously VMI is not for everyone. There are certain kids who are going to say, thanks for recruiting, but I'm not going to VMI.
It interested me, I guess. I knew if I got another offer from another school afterwards, I probably would choose them over VMI just because of the whole military aspect. And I've seen a lot, and so I'm not really sure if it was for me.
What was Coach Woods like as a recruiter, as the head coach at VMI, and compare him to what he's doing now with our guys, with the Spiders and with the running backs and with Coach Rocco?
Coach Woods is a great guy. He's really low key about some things, and he's really nice about what he's doing, and he's honest. He's an honest guy. And he was really great when he was recruiting me.
Have you guys talked much about your recruitment to VMI when he was their head coach?
No, not at all.
How about this week for him? And has there been, I know it's early in the week yet, it's only Tuesday, but has there been any conversation either with him or amongst you guys that, much like with Coach Rocco with Liberty the past 2 years, this game probably has a little more meaning to him whether he's going to admit it or not?
Yeah, like Coach Rocco told us the other day that he really wants us to win, and Coach Fisher was telling us how he really wants us to win because Coach Woods was the coach of VMI for so long, and that's about all we've gotten into so far.
Danny, we talked about this a little bit back in August about how you might talk to Coach Woods. He's obviously a veteran guy. He knows what he's doing, but you obviously went through it for 2 years playing Liberty, both at Richmond and going back to Lynchburg.
Well, there's a lot of different layers, of things that you want to be able to talk about. I think the most important, though, is to make sure we get as much information from Sparky about the opponent. He understands the mindset of the opponent, the makeup of the opponent. He understands what it means when they take their core and their band, on a road trip. It's that one getaway a year. I mean, this is their red letter game. You can say it however you want to say it. All right, this is VMI's red letter game. All right, so they have been talking about this game, thinking about this game. All right, they have earmarked this game as the game of the season. All right, and all their actions have led up to that thought and that reality. Now, I got to get my players to understand that. All right, they need to understand the foe. They need to understand the opponent, the mindset, and the makeup. And the sooner I get that done, and I plan on doing that today at 3 o'clock, as soon as I get that done, then everything will fall into place. But that has to preclude anything else that goes into our preparation. And I think that's where Sparky's been great. I mean, Sparky has had just an unbelievable appreciation for VMI, but an unbelievable understanding for what that's all about. And then on the more of the personal note, we all recognize that the thrill of victory overrides so many other elements of the experience. And, just look at last week.
Saturday,
last Saturday, for all the different things that went into it, the emotions, the hardships. I mean, the thrill of victory is the trump card. So to get to that point is obviously the objective. And then, once you get there, or by getting there, then you can really appreciate the experience.
I'm just writing that down. That was a great line.
Thank you. What was it?
The thrill of victory is the trump card.
Trump card.
I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
All right, the last time these teams played was 2 years ago, 2013. There was the trump card because the Spiders did win that game, but here's where the connection to Winston Craig and VMI comes into play. Winston Craig was a true freshman, got into that game in 2013, and here's what happened. 3rd and 10. Corden Brock sets up a screen pass, partially deflected, and it's intercepted. It's picked off by the true freshman. Winston Craig with the interception in his first collegiate game. How about that? Winston Craig will fondly remember that interception from 2 years ago, and I was telling him about it during the commercial break, and I said, listen to the play-by-play clip, because you're going to hear me struggle to figure out who that big lumbering freshman lineman was. I'm looking at the roster going down, who is that guy who picked off that pass? Congratulations on that, Winston. What do you remember about that?
They ran a screenplay. We had a game call, so I was coming outside to contain, and my teammate Kieran Gregory tipped the ball, and I was right behind the back, and it kind of went over his head and went right into my hands.
What was your emotion after that play? We talked at the beginning about Chris Anderson said you're cool, calm, and collected kind of guy. Were you at that moment?
I was upset because I didn't score.
Right.
And before I could get up, my teammates had kind of all grabbed me, and I was kind of confused. I didn't really know what was all going on, so I didn't really have a chance to get excited or energized or anything like that. So.
But have you been teased a little bit that you didn't get to the end zone?
Yeah, a lot.
Well, maybe lightning will strike twice, and you'll have a chance to finish it off this week. How much understanding do you guys have about what Coach was talking about, the importance of this game for the VMI side of the field? Big game for their whole core, for their program. I mean, they're trying to get better. They got a first-year head coach. They could make a statement with a win at nationally ranked Richmond Saturday.
It's a huge game for them, obviously, but at the same time, it's also a huge game for us, our first home game. And if someone's coming to our house with all that energy and excitement and everything, we have to match that and go above that. So it's just as big a game for us. Every game is a big game.
Porter, you must have an understanding of that without having to listen to Coach Rocco at 3 o'clock today, although I'm sure you will be very attentive at 3 o'clock. But just having grown up in that area and been around it and knowing kind of the mindset of what Saturday will mean to VMI coming to Richmond.
Yeah, the fact that they're bringing their core shows a lot. Their core, it's an interesting bunch of people when they're there. They're doing chants throughout the game. It's loud, so it's going to be a great environment Saturday.
How about being at home for the first time? I mean, you're probably tired of getting on the bus the last couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah. I'm really, really excited about being home. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Got some new things going in for the new home games, and it's going to be great.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. We'll let you guys go finish up lunch. Thanks so much for being with us. I will take you a little bit behind the scenes. Porter was a last-minute substitution. Seth Fisher was going to be here today. He had a doctor's appointment that he had to get to at the last minute. So Porter very ably, thank you, filled in for Seth Fisher. Fellas, thanks. Have a great day on Saturday evening in Robins Stadium. Winston Craig, Porter Abel. Thanks, fellas. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more with Coach Rocco. We'll get to the Spider Sportsline email inbox. We'll talk more Spider football, more VMI football coming up when we come back in just a moment. This is the Spider Sportsline live from Outback Steakhouse. You're listening to it on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
Need a good price on tires with great service? Visit Dyke Tire, your locally owned Tire Pros dealer, for all your car care needs. Our services start with a full line of tires for your car and truck. We work on all vehicles from oil changes to repairs to your engine that'll keep your car safe on the road. Dyke Tire Pros is a proud supporter of the University of Richmond Spiders. Visit Dyke Tire Pros in Richmond at 2503 North Skipwith Road. Online at dyketire.com.
100 years is a long time, and Luck Chevrolet is celebrating their 100-year anniversary. Let them use their century of experience to help you find your next Silverado, Suburban, Impala, Malibu, Equinox, or commercial upfit vehicle. Luck Chevrolet uses their vast knowledge of GM vehicles to help you maintain and service your vehicle to keep it on the road longer and help preserve its value. So for Chevrolet sales, service, or parts, go where experience reigns supreme. Luck Chevrolet in Ashland and online at luckchevrolet.com. Proud Spider sponsors and proud to be family-owned since 1916.
We know what it's like, that persistent nagging feeling that will only go away when you get away. For those with a passion for travel, there's the new Discover It Miles card. You earn unlimited 1.5 miles for every dollar you spend, and you can fly any airline anytime with no blackout dates. Just buy your ticket and use miles to credit your statement. Apply now and Discover will double your miles at the end of your first year. So go on, scratch that travel itch. Get the new Discover It Miles card today. Limitations apply. Double miles for new card members only. Learn more at discover.com/miles.
At UR School of Professional and Continuing Studies, we offer flexible and affordable degrees to help you start, advance, or change your career. Explore our newest graduate degrees in nonprofit studies and public history. Plus, check out our new bachelor's degree and certificate in information security. With evening classes and tuition starting at just $450 per semester hour, you can earn a UR degree on your terms. The University of Richmond School of Professional and Continuing Studies. We work for working professionals. Visit spcs.richmond.edu for details.
The lunch hour's winding down, but there's still time for you to talk Richmond football with Coach Rocco. Live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street. This is the Spider Sports Line on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
3rd and 14. Loretta shotgun snap, quarterback draw at the 40, 35, breaks a tackle. Loretta at the 30, 25, first down. Kyle Loretta with a huge run to the 22-yard line.
Character. Big time.
Got about 15 minutes left in the Spider Sports Line today here at Outback Steakhouse. Again, thank our special player guests. They were terrific, weren't they? Porter, Abel, and Winston Craig. You'll hear a lot more from them. Of course, Winston a junior and Porter just a redshirt sophomore for the Spiders. Really well-spoken young men. We appreciate them being here today. I think you were talking with our good friend Tony Sikowski over here when we came back and we replayed that highlight. I don't know if Matt Josephs can cue that back up to just the highlight so that Coach Rocco can hear that. I don't know if you can get to that. Matt, can you? I'm guessing maybe not without playing the whole. Let's try it. If you can just let him hear just the play-by-play call there. 3rd and 10.
Never mind.
Thought you were better than that, Matt.
It's 3rd and 10.
It is 3rd.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't think it was, though. I think it was 3rd and 14. That was the highlight of Kyle Loretta running for 19 yards for the first down. And I just wanted you to compare your play-by-play call to my play-by-play call. If you fish it out, Matt, just let me know, and we'll go to it. But I think I had him going, maybe not at warp speed, but probably a little bit faster than you had him going.
You did.
Yes, I did. And he did pick up a first down. That was one of 2 huge possession plays, Danny.
Yep.
You've talked about that one. The other one, real quick, was the 4th and 2, I believe it was,
yes,
and the pass to Stephon Jacob. That's his first collegiate catch as a Richmond Spider. Why him in that situation?
Well, there's an option, obviously, on that play, and Kyle made the right decision right there. And I think that the exciting thing about that last drive was the efficiency that we were moving the ball and then some of the big plays that were made. But then the whole way down the field, Charlie Fisher and I were in real good communication about things that we could go to if we found ourselves in a 3rd and short or a 4th and short. I wanted to run the ball because I did want to bleed the clock. But we thought we had a couple of throws that we could make in a 3rd and short or 4th and short, and I chose to run it on 3rd down because I wanted to run some more clock. But when we got the 4th down, I had no hesitation that we were going to go to this play, and Kyle made a nice throw, nice play, but it was going to be open. They weren't going to cover both options. They hadn't seen it yet today. It was going to be there. So we were able to call it with great confidence. And then, the ball came out after he hit the ground. The ball should never come out. But, so that was one more call that had to be made in that game.
If ever there was a game you needed replay, that was probably the game you needed
You're
replay.
exactly right.
Probably no chance of that happening. All right, couple of email questions. We've really talked about the topic. It is about the Hampton game. But if folks take the time and effort to send their emails, we definitely want to read them, and you can rehash it just a little bit. The first one comes from our good friend Ross Luck up at Luck Chevrolet, one of our longtime great sponsors of Spider Athletics. And Ross, who normally comes to the show but couldn't make it today. My dad has been volunteering for the Randolph-Macon chain crew for the past 25 years and was shocked to see that a member of the Hampton crew had to be dismissed mid-game. He wanted to know, how the heck did they award a first down to Hampton? I know we've already talked about this. What was said and to whom that precipitated the red card? And has Coach Rocco ever experienced something like that before in a game? So for folks who weren't listening in the first 15 minutes, a quick synopsis.
Yeah, well, I've never experienced anything like this. And then the gentleman on the chain gang made some comments to my sideline and to my players that are just totally unacceptable, and I basically stopped the game at that moment and got the referee involved in the situation, and they immediately dismissed that young man, And, having said that, one thing I really want to say, I have great respect for Coach Maynor. He's their head football coach, and, none of this is his doing. He's coaching his team. I'm coaching my team. There's a lot going on out there. I got great respect for him. He's a good football coach. He's got a great record, great history, and they're going to get back on the map down there at Hampton. I've got no doubt about that. So even though some of my language today has been somewhat defensive of my program and that event that day, it was a very frustrating first half. A lot of things to look at and talk about. Got great respect and admiration for Coach Maynor, and he's going to do a great job down there at Hampton.
All right, this one along the same lines comes from Jeff, who says, considering how poorly Saturday's game was managed, what can we do to avoid traveling to Hampton in the future? Scheduling must be getting very difficult given edicts from some of the BCS conferences as well. We talked about that last week.
Oh, I'm not going to touch that one, Paul.
Oh, come on.
Well, I think that we are scheduled here for the next 4 or 5 years. I feel real good about the way that the schedule is laid out. David Walsh is the point man on all that. He does a great job with it. He's very diligent with it. The issue you have when you play the FCS schools are usually home and home games. You're usually going to have Colgate come here, then go to Colgate. You're going to have Fordham come here, then go to Fordham. And those are actually 2 games that we have on our schedule here down the road. So this VMI game's kind of sitting by itself here right now as they're coming here on Saturday. But you're exactly right. With the landscape changing with the BCS schools and the Power 5, maybe sooner than later, pulling away from playing FCS schools, these options are going to be out there on the table for us again. And I just think we've got to take a really good, long, hard look at our philosophies moving forward if, in fact, the Power 5 changed the structure of their scheduling.
Are you worried, real quick, I know we got another break in here, are you worried that some of the BCS games that are scheduled, that are already contracted, may not happen because of that? Virginia's coming up, Pitt, Boston College, Virginia Tech in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Yeah, I really do. I don't know how swiftly they would move in that direction, but there's going to be a day when it's like the NFL. The NFL only plays teams in the NFL. They don't play other teams in other divisions. Mm-hmm. All right, the Power 5 is eventually going to play only teams in the Power 5. That's the way it's going to be one day. And now you and me may be long gone, but it's going to be like that. You before me. I mean, you got that right.
Right, because you're so much younger than me.
But it's going to be like that. That's going to be a reality, in it's just a matter of how quickly or how rapidly that would happen.
All right, quick break. We'll wrap it up with Coach Rocco, get some final thoughts about these Keydets coming to town Saturday. When we come back, Spider Sports Line from Outback on the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by AC Electric. Family means everything. When you think of businesses you love to use, think of how many of those businesses are family-run. It may be your local grocer, vehicle repair shop, restaurant, or copier company. Copier? That's right. Since 1970, Stone's Office Equipment has been family-owned and operated right here in Richmond. And every Stone's employee is dedicated to going above and beyond to help make your business better. Stone's Office Equipment. Check them out on the web at stonesoffice.com. Go Spiders!
Have you been dreaming about a new deck, screen, porch, or room addition? Make it happen by calling Adadec at 285-4239. Adadec doesn't just build decks. Of course, we can build your new deck or renovate your old one, but we also build beautiful screen porches, open porches, sunrooms, and other room additions, and have been for over 25 years. We can design it, build it, and turn your dream into reality. Visit Adadec on the web at adadec.com or call 285-4239 today. That's 285-4239 for additions and decks by Adadec.
This is the Spider Sports Line with head football coach Danny Rocco, live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street, on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
Wrapping it up for a Tuesday afternoon at Outback Steakhouse. We thank all the folks who've come in today. A lot of them have stopped up at the table to talk with Coach and also with the players while they were here. They just left to get back to campus, Winston Craig and Porter Abel. So real good time, real good opportunity for those of you when you come in the restaurant to talk to these guys on a one-on-one basis, something you may not get the opportunity to do a lot during the college football season. Final thoughts, Danny, on VMI coming in Saturday night. I think we've covered them, but I think it's kind of interesting, your observation of them offensively. They've got a new head coach in Scott Wackenheim. VMI traditionally has been a team that's run the ball more just because of the type of student-athlete they can get. They've run wishbone, they've run option, all that sort of thing. He seems to be a guy who's throwing caution to the wind, literally and figuratively a little bit. He's got a great quarterback in Al Cobb.
Yeah, I think what Coach Wack has done, going there, recognizing at VMI, you got to be different. You got to be a little bit unique. So some people, Jim Reed went there and ran the triple option, and that was the unique thing that was about that program. Now, Coach Wack, Scott has a lot of history in the triple option. He was at Rice. He was at Air Force. Okay, he very easily could have gone in there and said, this is how I want to be different. But he knew he had this quarterback. And really the strength of their team right now is this receiving core. So to just categorically go in this direction and say, hey, we're going to run the triple option, Scott was able to say, you know what, this is the talent we have here. This is the skill set we have. I have a unique way that we can play. And they're very unique in how they're playing right now. And they're very much fast tempo. So he's playing to his talent right now, and I think he's doing a really good job. When I watch him on film, they don't look like they've been doing this for a long time. Whereas, you would think that even in the Ball State game, this Coach Wack wouldn't agree with me necessarily, but when I'm watching this team on film, I'm like, they're efficient. They know what they're doing with the ball. They're not self-destructing, doing all those kinds of things. In running so many plays and playing with such tempo, their defense is at times put in some tough situations.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the hope for us will be is that, we can exert ourselves offensively, as we, try to attack that defense.
The best part about Saturday, in my opinion, is where the game is being played.
Yeah, I've been saying home at last, and I've been kind of singing that here to our guys here this week, home at last, and what a great game this will be. It's going to be sellout crowd, great atmosphere, a very exciting opportunity, and I know my kids are going to be excited and ready to play.
See you Saturday, Coach. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot.
And thanks to Porter Abel and Winston Craig, our special player guest, our airtime Saturday, 5 o'clock. With the UR Bookstore Tailgate Show, our URAA pregame show at 5:30, kickoff at 6. We're also on television Saturday night. Spider TV producing. It's on Comcast Sportsnet Plus and WTVR TV channel 6.3, their digital channel at 6 o'clock. More info on our website at richmondspiders.com. Mitchell Bradley, Matt Josephs, thanks for your assistance producing and engineering. Bob Black saying so long from Outback Steakhouse for the Spider Sports Line. See you at the game Saturday night, everyone. So long from Outback on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
You've been listening to the Spider Sportsline with Richmond head coach Danny Rocco. Today's show has been brought to you by the Discover Card, UPS, Luck Chevrolet.